so many different things, professional wrestling, but your movie that just came out recently. But I want to talk about something first before we jump into that movie is The Wrestler. You were in The Wrestler. Tell me your experience being involved with The Wrestler, and when all the awards started coming in for this movie, were you surprised that everyone enjoyed a movie about professional wrestling?
You know, it was kind of a fluke kind of situation. I had just came back from LA looking for some movie action. I left LA, I didn't do anything. I really didn't make any connection. But as soon as I got back to Atlanta, my manager called and said, "Hey, they want to see you in New York." I was like, "Why New York?" So they got this film they making about wrestling. And I was like, that's the last thing I wanted to do is make a wrestling movie. I wanted to go out to LA and make some I wanted to be like the cowboy karate guy. That's what I wanted to do. Go out there and kick ass. So once I got the call, I was like, who is this guy? He said, a guy named Darren Aronofsky. I said, Darren Aronofsky. So I've never heard of this guy. And they said, no, he's a great director. So I said, okay. They said, come out to LA, come out to New York. And then I said, okay, send me my ticket. They said, no, we're not going to get you a ticket. You got to get your own ticket. And then come out here and meet Darren. Meet Darren. Meet the director. So you're not going through casting. He just want to see you first. And I said, well, why would I have to pay to go be in their movie? Right. And I said, I'm not going. I said, I'm not going to pay my way. So I called my friend up, Goldberg. I said, Goldberg, this guy called me talking about he want me to be in the movie. And they want me to pay my way out there. And Goldberg said, absolutely no. Do not pay your way out there, because if they want you, you got to understand. In the wrestling world, we meet a lot of people that kind of riffraff. They try to come up, as we use come up. They try to get famous off of what we've done. You got these promoters. They out there bringing these guys in, giving them money, and give them a little money and making money off of it, then treating them like they beneath them. That's not my deal. I don't need that. So I said, I'm not going to pay my way out there. But then my girlfriend, who is my wife now, but at that time she was my girlfriend, she said, listen, you haven't been in a lot of movies yet, so you might need to just take a chance and fly out there. She said, I'll buy the ticket. Okay, it's coming out of your pocket. Go ahead. So we got the ticket. I flew out there. I walked into this office. And first of all, they sent me the script. And when I got the script, I had a couple of scripts before. And I would read a little bit, 2 or 3 pages, then I just put it down. But when I got this script, I started to read my lines and go over it and read through it. And before I knew, I had read the whole script. I said, I read the whole script. I didn't know what that meant at that time, but now I know it meant that it was a good script. It kept me reading all the way from the beginning to the end. So anyway, I get out to New York, Brooklyn. I go get in a cab. It was hard for a brother to get a cab in New York, as you may know. So What was that? What did that mean, Ray?
Was that Ray?
I'm just listening to you talking about the struggles, just talking about being in the struggle.
Yeah. So anyway, I get there. I walk in the office and I see 2 guys. One was Darren. I didn't know him, Darren Aronofsky, and the other was Scott Freeman, the executive producer. He's like Darren right-hand man. Whatever movie Darren work on, this is his beneath producer, Scott Franklin. So anyway, I go in and Darren's look at me. He said, okay, can you read the part? I start reading the part. I said, hey, because I was going to fly in and out. I said, listen, my flight leaving like 3 hours. So they said, oh, okay, we'll get you back to the airport. Don't worry about it. So Darren came in and he started looking at me doing this. He was doing this at me from the side, and I'm reading,
He's
and
about to hit you with the diamond cutter.
That's what I thought.
I'm reading the part, and he just framing my face. And then when he started doing that, I'm looking at him like from side eye, like what? Let me continue to read. So when I finished, he said, they whispered to each other and they said, okay, all right, that's good. That's good, Cap. That's good. He said, can you stay for an hour or so? We want you to meet somebody. I'm like, remember my plane leave at a certain time in 3 hours, a couple hours. They said, okay, we'll take care. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. So I sit down, me and Scott Franklin walk around. We talk about the movie. I hear them talking and saying all these things about this movie. And Nathan, you know, this old guy walk in. I thought it was DDP, but it was. Man, listen, my mouth always get me in trouble, man. It's always get me in trouble. It was Mickey Rourke. I've never met Mickey in person. That was my first time. And he said, hey, Ernest, can you read the line? Can you read the lines with Mickey? And then I looked at Mickey and I was like, wait a minute. It's somebody else supposed to be in this part. I'm not going to call his name, but I knew he was in this movie somewhere, and I thought he was playing this part right here. So he said, no, Mickey is playing this part. Now he playing the part of Ram. So anyway, we went through it, and Mickey and I just started talking back. We read the line, and Mickey looked at Mickey and said, you know, this guy's a natural. It was like we were just having conversation, just like we're talking right here. Yeah. Mickey and I were just talking, having a conversation. I say, so I own this car, say my line. He said, I own this line. And it was just real smooth. He said, he a natural. And then Scott Franklin came up to me. He said, well, did I hear him talking out there? He said, I guess you got the job. And I said, this must be a pretty good part. He said, yeah, it's almost like co-starring. He said, we got you to make Mickey Rourke look like a wrestler. That's why we asked for a wrestler who can act and wrestle. So that's why you came in. So anyway, I came in and I said, hey, what happened to, I'm going to tell you the guy name who was playing that part. Can you think of it? Do you know?
If I looked it up, I'm probably going to, if I Googled it, I bet I could find it in 2 seconds.
No, do you know?
No,
right?
Off top of my head, no.
Okay, well, the first person that had that role right there was Nicolas Cage.
Wow.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage was there. I knew he was playing that part, but some kind of way we went in. The budget was like a $30-40 million budget, but then when I got there and Mickey took over, it was a $5 million budget film. Wow. And it looked like a $5 million. Remember, I came from TV side. I came from billionaires, working with Ted Turner. They had the best camera, the best production. And then I went to WWE. They had all the best stuff. We had the best stuff, Now I'm on the set of this movie. It's a $5 million movie. It looked like they were just barely making it. So anyway, so he said, hey, can you stay till Tuesday? It was like, yeah, can you stay till Wednesday? It was like a Monday. I said, yeah, I can stay till Wednesday. He said, we'll take care of everything. Don't worry about it. Take me to the hotel. So I ended up staying one night, working with Mickey in the ring. We worked over a couple of things. The stunt guy came to show us some stuff. And all the stuff Mickey wanted to do something that Rey Mysterio would do. Flip over the rope. He wanted to do all this stuff. But he couldn't hardly move around the ring like that. He wasn't, Mickey was up in his, he had to be about in his 50s, late 50s then. But he wanted to do this kind of, this kind of Rey Mysterio stuff. And I just told him, let's not do this. Let's stick to something and do the acting. So anyway, we got in the ring and work, man. And all the while we were doing this, and we wasn't even working on the film. We were just preparing for it. All the while they were saying stuff, we were reading lines. Darren and Mickey would laugh and say, we going to win the Oscar for this. And I was like, Oscar? I said, this guy must be crazy, man. This film is not going to win not gonna win any Oscar. But you know what, Nathan? You know, I was in LA and we had finished shooting the film about a month or so or 2 months after the film was completed. And by the way, it was a great time. I had a great time filming this movie. You know, it was a good time. Everybody was like, I mean, everybody was on time. Everything was in order. And Darren was easy to work with. He made me feel like an actor, not like a wrestler. So, you know, he really got the most out of me. You know, he really got the most out of me. So when when the movie was done and it was in a can, I remember I had a friend. She worked in the movie business. And one day she called. She said, "Ernest, what's the name of that little movie you was in?" And I said, "The Wrestler." She said, "Oh man, that movie tearing it up. It's winning all the film festivals." I said, "What?" I said, "These guys kept saying it. They act like they knew, but they kept saying from day one and two, this movie is gonna win an Academy."
It cleared him out. It won so many awards that season too, all over the place, from Golden Globes to Oscars. And were you invited to any of these
I
award
was
ceremonies?
I was invited to all of them, even to go to the what's that, the Lion something award over in England. I was invited to all of them. But as you know, I'm not an actor. You know, if you know me, I like doing my own thing. So I didn't go to any of them. Darren he said you can come if you want to, you don't have to. You know, just be at the red carpet. So I said, okay. So no, I didn't go to a lot of the film festival, but I did go to the red carpet that they had the opening night in LA.
What were the reactions from other wrestlers on your performance and, of course, the movie itself? Because a lot of people were looking at that movie going, well, who's this based off of? People kept saying Ric Flair, Mick Foley. They had names thrown out there left and right, but no one could like pinpoint a name. And plus, previous to that, any wrestling movie that was made was more of like a ha-ha, ready to rumble. And anytime a wrestler was in a movie, it really didn't perform except for Roddy Piper. So what was the reaction from the community of wrestlers that you are associated with on your performance and, of course, the movie itself and the acceptance of the story being told?
Well, as you know, wrestler, we kind of funny. Everybody would say I did a good job. That was a good movie. DDP was the first one. He came to the red carpet. Some of those guys was invited. And they didn't know what part I had. They probably thought I was going to be in and out, you know?
Right.
Darren Aronofsky, the director, said enough to me that made me feel like I did a great job in the film and it was well worth it. When Darren looked at me one time, and before I got ready to shoot my scene, Darren looked at me. He said, "Cat, listen here, man. You're going to be this is the last scene in the movie. If they don't believe you, the movie is fucked up." He said the whole movie. He said, if they don't believe you in this end part, the whole movie don't mean anything. They got to believe that you really, really care for Mickey when he was about to die in the ring. So man, I didn't know what he was gonna do, but we went through all the spots. Then the last spot was when I was laying down on the ground looking up at Mickey, and Mickey was trying to do one more big splash, one more big thing. The doctors already told him it'll kill you if you do it again. But he getting up there, he said, "I got to do it." And then the camera was on me now. Was nobody up there. I was looking up and the camera was shooting on me. It's my shot. Mickey did his shot from the top of the rope. Boom, that was over. Now it's my turn where they bring the cameras and get me laying on the ground. And I got to pretend Mickey is right up over me doing this. And I got to pretend that I'm really, really I fear for this guy. This is a good friend who probably about to kill himself in the ring.
Yeah.
So I gave him a little feeling, and Darren kept saying, "Come on, Cat, you got to give me more. Come on, man. Come on, Ernest, give me more." I was like, "Come on, Mickey, get out. No, more. Come on, Ernest, give me more. Give me." Man, let me tell you something. Before that move over, I had tears running down my eyes. I felt like my grandma was about to kill herself up on that turnbuckle.
Oh, no.
I felt like somebody I really, really, truly care about give up. And I got up and I sit up and I looked at Diary. I just stared at him. I said, bro, if you was in my old black neighborhood, you'd be like a damn snake doctor. Cause you put something on me. You put something on me that drew. You put something on me that pulled something out of me that, I didn't know I had in me. It was a great movie, man. The movie was really, to me, was true. It was a true movie. It was a true movie because you got true feeling. Because Mickey Rourke put all he had into that movie. Mickey Rourke did a great job playing a wrestler. This guy right here looked like and act like he felt the same pain that some of these guys that I know have gone through having a wrestling career.
Yeah.
Would you say it was more loosely based on somebody like a Jake the Snake Roberts?
You can't really say. They all thought the movie was about them. But who in the hell want to be an old beat up wrestler like that, can't do anything to lose your family? I don't know who the movie was about. I know one thing, it wasn't me.
Because you was the
Ayatollah, baby. I flourished. I'm just saying, when I was in wrestling, everything I wanted, I had. I was able to take care of my family, do everything. I wasn't no old man walking around just barely making it. So the movie wasn't about me, but you had people like Greg the Hammer Valentine. He said the movie was about him. Wow. Y'all owe me money. Y'all owe me money. I got a real funny story out of that movie. Now, although I was playing the Sheik, Ayatollah.
The Ayatollah.
Not the Sheik.
Not the real Sheik. Not the Sheiky baby.
Yeah, Bubba.
The Sheiky baby got mad at me.
Fucking the Ernest the cat. Fucking the cat.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The Sheik got mad at me. And the reason the Sheik got mad at me because he said that I stole his gimmick because I did all the Sheik stuff.
Yeah.
But I wasn't no damn Sheik. I was a black man that owned a car shop just having, a little good time wrestling. I could use whatever I want to. I could use the elbow if I wanted to. But anyway, they told me use the Sheik stuff.
The camel clutch.
Yeah, camel clutch. That's what I would use as my finish. So after that move, I was invited to a show in New York. Of course, it was like one of those meet and greet. And when I got there, they sit me at my table. Then at the end table, it was set up. I saw the Sheik name on that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the Sheik name. I just walked past. I didn't know. I had never really talked to him, met him. So when I went down and sat down, and then Sheik came and he walked by, and all the while I heard the Sheik down there cursing. He's real loud. At these events, the Sheik stand up and just yell and talk real loud. And I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm the Sheik of Hogan, the fuck of the Hogan.
Fuck of the Hogan.
So he was real loud. He was real loud always. And nobody really, I never paid attention to him. So I'm signing an autograph. This young guy came up to me, say, "Hey, Cat, man, I'm signing an autograph." All the while here, all the loud noise down there. Somebody, the Sheik going through his thing, kicking, knocking over the chair, cursing. So I'm doing this right, signing an autograph. He said, "Man, I love that movie, The Wrestler." He said, "Man, that's one of my favorite movies, man." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You did a great job." And he said, the Sheik is mad at you." I said, "What?" I said, "What is he doing down there?" He said, "He cursing you out. That's you. Fuck of the guy. Fuck of the guy. Fuck of the cat. The cat can kiss my ass. He just cursing." But I'm not paying him any attention. So when I heard that, I told the guy, I said, "I don't know the Sheik. I know me." I told my guy who's the promoter, I said, "I'll be back. I'm going to the bathroom." I walked past there. Sheik had sat down. I walked past the table. Sheik shut up, didn't say anything. So I walked back there. He looked, "How you doing, Cat?" Just real nice like that. Then soon I got back to my chair. I heard him again. "Fuck the Cat. He stole my gimmick."
He did the same thing in L.A. when we were in L.A. Right before he died not too long after that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, passed away.
Yeah.
Right after we went to L.A.
A couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Wow. How old was it? Yeah, I remember man, you know, so many of these guys pass away, man, that you kind of forget. It's like, it's like, it's just like seeing some of them today, then missing them for a couple of months, then you see them again later. And then when you hear that one of them passed away, it just seemed like it was just yesterday I was hanging out with them, you know? So you forget sometimes.
I was interviewing Jacques Rougeau, and I was like, "Oh yeah, a month ago you said you saw Sid." He's like, "Yeah, I was gonna call him tomorrow." I'm like, he passed away like 2 days ago. He's like, "What?" He's like, "I just saw him a month ago." So, you know, it's a heavy heart for obviously a lot of wrestlers and a lot of wrestling fans out there.
You know, one of my favorite was Roddy Piper. Piper, and every time you see me, hey, him and Macho Man. Cat Manzoo. That's all he used to say. Cat Manzoo. Every time you see me. Cat Manzoo. How you doing? Cat Manzoo. How you doing? He always said that.
That's a song. That's a song.
Yeah. He always said
Cat Manzoo.
He always said that to me. Just real nice. And when he passed away, man, it's kind of like I haven't seen him in a while, but it's like he just at home somewhere.
June the 7th, 2023, at the age of 81. The Sheik.
81. Oh, yeah,
81.
the Sheik.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a good story about the Sheik. I was in Atlanta one time, right? And I was speeding. I just got this new 911 Porsche. It was like in 2014, brand new Porsche, 911. Man, I told my son, I said, watch this. Boom, boom. 100 miles an hour. Police, next thing I see the blue light coming, trying to catch me. So I pull over. The blue lights came up on me, stopped. He said, hey, what's your hurry? Now I'm like, well, I got this new Porsche and I just want to show my 12-year-old son just how fast it'll go. He said, well, you know you're going pretty fast. He said, I could give you a ticket or I could take you to jail, you know, because he was going to super speeder. So I was like, okay, all right. And he let me go. We were going to the baseball field so we can drop my son off. I had to go back the same way. I did it again. Ooh, same cop pulled me over. He said, bro, you know this time. I said, bro, let's just give me a ticket. I'll write it off. I'm trying to get smart. He said, oh, you would write it off? He said, no, I tell you what, I'm going to let you do this. You come on in and you pay your ticket right now. I said, pay your ticket right now. He said, I'm on arrest. He said, yes. He said, till you pay that ticket. So I had to go right in. We was in this little town outside. I went right in and I sat down. Soon I sat down, waiting for them to process the paperwork. All these cops was looking, hey, that's the cat. That's the cat right there. That's the fucking cat. That's the cat right there. I was laughing. I was like, hey, bro, I'm getting out of here. I said, what you in here for, cat? So I need to pay a ticket to get out of here. Then next thing you know, one of them came in there, and guess who came in next? The Sheik. The Sheik was in lockdown for doing some druggy stuff. And they got him. When they brought him in, the security guard that was talking to me, he said, the Sheik. He said, man, it's like damn WWE in here.
I was gonna say, what year was that? Because isn't the story of Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Iron Sheik getting caught with drugs in their car a very famous story?
That's
where
a
they didn't want to see
story.
baby faces and heels together?
They were in New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay.
He got stopped and arrested a few times in Atlanta. I think he was fighting those demons in Atlanta. We was in a little town like Sandy Spring. It was real small. And he was over there buying drugs or something. They called him and brought him in. I mean, I didn't go to court with him, but this is what they said. I was like, what are you in for? And I was like, bro, they got that cop said, this is like WWE in this damn place, all these wrestlers. I say, bro, I'm going home. I'm just paying the damn ticket.
Man, you've lived so many great things. Now, Ray, we're talking about movies here, The Wrestler as well, for just a brief moment more. Before The Wrestler, the first wrestling movie I could think of that really jumps out as being in theaters was a documentary, Beyond the Mat, where the director pretty much exposed and used a lot of wrestlers, not really telling them exactly what he was going to do with the footage. Jake the Snake Roberts, I've interviewed him. He explained what a BS that all was. But yet, what's your experience like with seeing Beyond the Mat, a documentary, kind of trying to showcase and expose the business to the wrestler, and seeing the cat in this, where the wrestler is a story of what happens when you're no longer able to be in the ring and do
No.
It's not about that.
The wrestler is a movie. It's not documenting anybody.
No. I'm saying
what he meant. What he's saying is, what's the contrast between a documentary and a movie?
Listen to me, Ray. You don't fucking know. You're not a damn. Let me tell you. To me, we wasn't giving away like secrets, inside story. That story with the wrestler could have been about a race car driver. It could have been about an old baseball player. It was just a great story. You understand what I'm saying? Now it could have been a docu-series, a movie, but that movie was about a great story. A story that made you feel. I'm not talking to you, Ray.
I agree with you, Cat. But we're talking about the 1999 documentary that came out called Beyond the Mat.
Yeah, I know that one.
Okay,
yeah,
my question is for Ray. Just kidding, Cat. I love you.
I know you do.
The difference of acceptance of the Beyond the Mat being like, oh, wrestling, because wrestling was in the boom in '99, versus The Wrestler, the movie, was accepted by a wide audience who didn't even watch wrestling.
Exactly.
You're talking about something that happened 9 years later, and what Beyond the Mat did was kind of spawn a lot of things like Dark Side of the Ring. I think it spawned a lot of things that got a lot of people's appetite wet for, and that's oddly enough how the Cat and I met in Atlanta back in 2001 or 2002. We were doing, it was called Behind the Curtain. It was a treatment that I had written that we were pitching to the people at TNN or TNT and TBS, and we were also pitching it to like VH1 and MTV because they had ties to wrestling as well. But that being said, we met Cat basically because we thought it was more interesting what happened behind the curtain than what went on in front of the audience. The storylines between the wrestlers, the things that went on in the back, with the promoter and the wrestlers like Vince and certain talents with the women and all that stuff that you kind of heard the rumblings and the stuff that you heard about back in the days of when the dirt sheets were really the dirt sheets. And that kind of thing is really what intrigued me and what got me going. And then, of course, Cat and I hit it off like peanut butter and jelly or hot sauce and chicken, however you want to look at it. Draw your own parallel. But, Wrestler was a great movie. He's right. It could have been about a race car driver. It just happened to be about a wrestler who was on his last leg, who was not ready to give it up yet, and fought through a lot of adversity and drug addiction and all that stuff, wrestling for $25 in high school gyms when he was at the pinnacle of his career at one time. And I think the Cat did a marvelous job for his first real acting role to do the Ayatollah the way he did. He did that film a lot of justice. And I agree with the boys' sentiments that Beyond the Mat kind of exposed people, and they didn't let them know they were going to expose.
But even looking at Beyond the Mat, never seen that movie. But what about today's wrestling? Don't they expose the business? Don't they give They give away a lot of inside information.
Oh yeah,
inside information.
Mm-hmm.
So would a movie like Beyond the Mat work now?
Oh, absolutely. I think
the Dark Side of the Ring, had 5 seasons, 6 seasons, and then it spawned off roundtables with Freddie Prinze Jr., which spawned off the death of WCW. Like there has been an endless amount, even off of those. It was the Dark Side of the NFL. Like the documentaries are something people want because they want information. No longer do you want a show where after the first season it gets canceled and you invested time into your characters. Documentaries has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Well, you know who really kind of hyped me about wrestling was Stevie Ray. One day, Stevie Ray and I was in the locker room. We were just talking. Me and Stevie Ray and Booker T and who else? It was somebody else. And we were just talking. And Stevie is kind of like, he like digging deep into facts. You know, he like getting information and throwing it out there. And he said to me, he said, Cat, one day we're going to see pro wrestling in everything. I said, what you mean? He said, in TV, movies. He said, you already seen it in basketball. Them flopping around, faking.
Oh, yeah.
You seen it in football. Them making the music down to them coming into on the field. In today's life, man, with sports and entertainment, you see a lot of pro wrestling stuff they used to do back in the day.
Of course.
You know?
That's why
Politics.
Dennis Rodman was such a polarizing figure, because he created a character that people
Yes.
could associate themselves with. It wasn't just another basketball player. He had a gimmick. You know, he had a character that you were like, I don't know what's going on here, but I want to watch more of it.
He's the worm. He was the worm.
I know. It took me forever when I Googled that. I met him a couple months ago at a Rhode Island Comic-Con, and I had to Google why we called the worm, because when you think of Dennis Rodman, think of the worm, you don't think squirmy basketball player. You think other things. Go right into the gutter. So
Right.
I was very surprised to find out it was not a phallic symbol.
No,
but
it was the way he wormed his way into the paint to get those rebounds.
Right.
He was the worm.
His mom gave him that nickname too. So that's why it was even stranger when I was Googling all this information.
So how was it meeting Dennis?
He didn't seem all present at the time.
Well, I mean, was he a little tipsy? A little
he must have been on, I think he must have been high, you know, and I think when anyone, you know, a lot of times I get it when you're wearing sunglasses inside, you just don't want to be staring at people and catching their eyes because you're a celebrity and you don't want to be dealing with eye contact and people like, you know, waving at you. So them on. But his demeanor seemed like he was a bit late. He was a bit too much. For me, he was fine. I didn't wait in line all day, 4 hours to meet him. I interviewed him. I talked to him. That was it. Like there was no 4 hours of me explaining that he was my childhood hero and things like that. Like people did that. And he couldn't have cared less. He was just more like, thank you so much. Sign that. Give me a hug. Let's take a picture. Simple that. It wasn't bad.
You know, I've been knowing Dennis for a long time. I spent a lot of time with him when he was in WCW, and he was always laid back like that.
Maybe that's just who he is. And
for me, he was always laid back, real quiet by himself. You know, they had to actually make him look like Dennis Rodman. They said, okay, put Dennis in the back, put 3 or 4 girls around him. That was his gimmick. But when he wasn't working, he was kind of like quiet, just real soft-spoken and everything.
Wow. Yeah. Because again, I always enjoyed his work. I had a poster of him on my wall as well. So there wasn't not in the wedding dress.
Did you have a poster of the cat on your wall?
I had every poster on my wall. Trust me. I had every magazine from WCW, ECW, WWF. I can hear you.
Okay, then.
And I said, yes, I did have a poster of you on my wall.
All right then, kid. You got to take it easy.
Everybody.
Who was
in the world can a Boston guy have a bull or a piston on your wall? I mean, how did that go over in Boston?
You know, it's like when you're growing up, there's certain polarizing characters from sports and movies that go beyond their sport. Dennis Rodman for basketball was for me. You know, you had Tiger Woods for golf. Did I watch golf? No, but I knew who Tiger Woods was, and there he is on my wall because he was a popular person.
The man, the GOAT, Michael
Tom
Jordan?
Brady? I was gonna say Tom Brady.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, of course I had Michael Jordan. I had Scottie Pippen. I had Michael Jordan. I had Dennis Rodman. I had.
Wait a minute. Oh, so you had the whole black wall?
Half my wall, maybe.
Half your wall was black. What was the other half?
He threw a Kevin McHale and a Larry Bird in there too, pal.
Oh, did he throw Larry Bird in there?
Larry Bird was.
We don't know what Larry Bird. Yeah, he might have been a little black too.
He was he was a trash talker too. You know, he did his thing. He did his thing, you know. Yeah. But in today's world, everyone is a trash talker. But let's not talk about trash, about the new movie that you're in now. Not the wrestler. The Unbreakable Bunch has Haku, Glacier. We have Stan Hansen, Reese. It's crazy to think that all these people can come together, especially being filmed over a 4-year span during the pandemic. Now, tell me through the experience of what it was like to even film this movie, how you got involved, and exactly the reception you're feeling from people. And Ray, I want to hear your thoughts too on this movie, because I know wrestlers in wrestling movies is accepted now versus back in the day when you had a Hulk Hogan, Santa with muscles versus The Rock, John Cena, and Batista all bringing it these days.
So
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you this right here. I've been in about 4 or 5 really good movies. I've been in Blood Sport. I've been in Blood and Bones. I've been in Blood Money. I've been in The Legend of Bruce Lee. So I've done some pretty good films. And people were serious on there. It was like I go sit in my trailer and wait for them to come and get me out. Then I go do my part. Then I come back, sit in my trailer while somebody stand outside my door and watch me like I'm gonna sneak off. So it was pretty serious on set, and I completely understand people are working. So I try to be the best, be on the best behavior. But in this movie right here, when Ray called me, who just happened to be a good friend, and said, "Hey, Cat, I'm gonna do this movie, man." I'm like, "Ray, you've never done a movie in your life. What the hell are you talking about?" I said, "So what are you gonna do? You gonna act in it, or you gonna?" He said, "No, I want to make a movie about friends." And I said, "Who you gonna have in the movie?" He said, "I want you in the movie. Me and what's the guy name? Big Sexy.
Kevin Nash?
No, he ain't the no. He's not the real.
You talking about
Luther
Biggs?
Luther Biggs. Luther Biggs. He was Big Sexy before. Big Sexy. Yeah, he was Big Sexy. Then Kevin Nash, cause Kevin Nash was on TV, he took it from him. So anyway, so when I found out that I was gonna be in the movie with all these guys, I was like, man, listen, if I didn't feel the way I felt about these guys, Glacier, Luther, and all the other guys in the movie, I would have said no. I would have said no. There's no way I want to be in a startup movie after I've been in a couple of big movies. There's no reason. There's no way. But then I said to myself, I said, "Where you guys filming at?" He said, "We filming down in Florida." Then I was like, So how many days you gonna film? He said, "I don't know, about 12 or 14 days. And we're gonna take care of everything and stuff like that." And I was like, let me think about it. Then I said, you know what? It might be fun. Might be fun being in a movie with these guys. So I asked Ray, I got one question. Do I die in the movie? He said, "What you mean?" I said, "Y'all always have the black guy. The black guy be the first one to get killed in this movie."
In the first 15 minutes.
So I told him, so I said, do the black guy die? He said, no. He laughed so hard. He said, "No, man, you one of the stars. We all gonna carry the movie." That's okay.
Brown in the house.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in the movie. I'm in. You got me. And man, working with those guys, man, it was just like a big house party. Every night we just got together, talk, but we got serious once we started shooting and started working on set, because we started to want this movie to be good, not for me, but for my friends.
Well,
then
you got to live your dream. You got to be a black cowboy. You were a cowboy.
Exactly. That's what they let me do. Something I've always wanted to do. And that's what he said. I said, "Ray, do I die in the movie?" He said, "No." Then I said, "Can I wear a cowboy hat?" He said, "Wear whatever you want to." I said, "I'm going to wear a cowboy hat, it's a cowboy boot. I'm going to be the black karate kung fu man." He said, "Okay, do it." He said, "I don't know how that'll work, but do it." But once it worked. Listen, we had a great time doing it, man. And these guys really worked hard. And the movie, man, it's a sci-fi movie. It's a sci-fi movie.
Right.
It's a great trailer. Great trailer.
And it'll make you feel happy when you watch a movie like this. Make you smile. It's not pro wrestling. I
haven't ever asked you this, Kat. I've never asked you this question, but how was it working with Larry Zbyszko?
I sat down with Larry. I worked with Larry in WCW.
Yeah, he was a commentator.
Yeah,
but I was wondering how he was on set.
I worked with Larry in WCW, so I used to see him. We'd shake hands, boom, that was it. But on set, as you know, Ray, you've been in a movie or so before. I don't know about you, sir. So being in a movie, there's a lot of downtime too. It's hurry, hurry, hurry to get there just to do nothing.
Hurry up and wait.
So, man, when I would get to the spot and we were sitting and waiting, I would go and sit next to Larry Sabisco. And he told some of the greatest stories I've ever heard about wrestling. He gave me a history class about a sport that I've been into and made a lot of money. He gave me a history class, how he started, how it used to be back in the old days. And all I had to do was just sit there and listen. I didn't say anything. I just sit there and listen. I heard some great story. I heard stories and after story about how he was the first guy to make music in the thing. He was making music. He was singing. He had a career. He did karate. He did all this stuff, man.
He did. He did all that. And he worked with Bruno San Martino, and he was one of Bruno's proteges.
Ray, can I finish?
Yeah,
can
go
I
ahead.
finish? So Ray, listen. At the end, and this how we turn out. At the end of the day, I heard Larry telling one of the guys, Ray, he said, I never really got to spend a lot of time with the cat when we were working at WCW. But he said, I'm glad I did this, these couple of weeks. He's a really nice guy. He's a good guy. And then the next day, he called me a sneaky asshole.
He wasn't wrong.
I said, I know it. I said, Larry, what is that? He said, you come in, you real nice, and you think it's going to be real nice, and you sneak one right in on somebody. I said, you know what? I'll live with that. I like that. A sneaky asshole.
Wow. And what's great about this movie, too, The Unbreakable Bunch, it's not just on a random website. It's on Prime TV. It's on Apple TV. It's Fandango. It's everywhere that you actually would sit down and watch a streaming show versus a movie that just abruptly ends up on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter. Like, this is a place where people are going to watch primetime network television shows and movies, and your movie is right next to theirs in the search category. So I guess that's got to feel pretty good to know that when Ray came to you, this idea, you're like, yeah, I'll do it because my buddies are doing this too. This should be fun. But it turned out to be a success because now it's everywhere for everyone to enjoy.
It's a passionate thing for him. I mean, he's really passionate about this movie. It's all he talks about. When you talk to Ray, he gonna talk to you about the movie. Hey, Cat, we working hard to get it here. We want to get it here. We want to get it there. And he put everything he had into this movie. And let me tell you, I said, Ray, listen, I've been to LA. I talked to a couple of guys who always talked about wanting to make a movie. It's not very many of them start and finish. I've seen some of start to shoot a movie, and then where is the movie after it's over? They don't know, but Ray got the movie started, completed, acting. He did everything. He got it out.
It's awesome to hear. I talked to Ray a few weeks ago about this movie as well. And yeah, and he knew how to take any of my words and flip them right back to the movie, which was great. I was like, man, I'm like, he is very passionate about this. Like, what'd you have for lunch today, Ray? And he's like, well, the movie was great.
The movie,
I ate a sandwich. I'm like, I don't think I asked you that, Ray. Sure.
I
love Ray. I love Ray.
I got paid good. They took care of me during the movie. The only thing that made me a little jealous was that in the whole movie, Ray was the only one to get to kiss a girl.
He did start the project though, right? So he kind of, I guess he gets to make that choice.
Yeah, he fell in love in the movie. And that's the end of it. That's the
end.
What
about, is there going to be a part 2?
Will there be a part 2 to this epic?
Who you asking?
I'm asking you. He don't
the
know.
The person who's in the movie. I don't know.
How you going? Hey, how you gonna ask me if it's gonna be a part 2? I didn't make the movie.
But you're part of it. Did you hear any rumblings on set that we're gonna do a part 2?
What do you mean we?
because I'm gonna be in it next time. I'm gonna be in it. I'm gonna be an alien. I'm gonna be the alien that kills your ass.
Oh, 5 minutes in, 15 minutes
Rob
in.
is there. 15 minutes. Where's the cat? Oh, he's going home.
Oh, he's
died.
dead. Yeah, that
He's
alien
gone,
just
he's
killed
dead.
him.
He at home. No,
Yeah.
where Ray had, he talked about doing many more. He want to take this collective group of friends and put them in all kind of different situations. He think it'll work. This is the first one. So with this being the first one, it get better. It should get better every time they put out one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this.
I could see Unbreakable, the Unbreakables 2, and maybe even an appearance by Goldberg in this.
Well, why don't you invest?
Well, I mean, nobody's come to me and asked me to invest.
Yeah, why don't you invest? You got money. You're a big finance guy. You're a big old finance with the money, with the star on your shirt. You want to talk about this movie and hey, why don't you invest? Put your money where your mouth
now
is
it's your
at.
movie all of a sudden. You see how
No, I
quick,
didn't say my movie.
Steve, see how quick he came
See,
he knew all about it then when there was some money.
I'm not in the middle of this.
I'm doing
I
this
agree
for
with
Glacier.
Larry. Sneaky asshole.
I was gonna say, yeah, all back to that sneaky asshole. But
Larry Legend.
But no, this movie is available on all streaming platforms, Roku TV, and again, Prime, Apple TV, like everywhere you can think of. This movie is there. Now, Ray, not Ray Lloyd, Ray.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on hearing about this movie and the completion and seeing the trailer as well? Because out there right now, again, it's that trailer. When I popped up, I was like, wow, this looks pretty damn good.
I was impressed. I really didn't know about it when I first. Ernest and I were talking about it, and I was thinking, man, aliens and wrestlers. Man, I don't know, man. But then I got to watching it. It gripped me. I mean, I was like, man, this is awesome. And to see Ernest with that cowboy hat and to see Tonga, man, it just makes me laugh. And, because the movie had some funny parts in it, and and then it had some really serious parts. And you could tell that they were working hard on the film to make it as good as they could make it. Because let's be honest, it wasn't no $10 million budget. I mean, Lloyd was doing what he could do with what he could do it with. And I think he did a marvelous job for what he had. And the proof is in the pudding. It's on every streaming service. I've made 5 films in my life, and only one ever made it to a streaming service. So, I mean, I failed at 4 other ones. So I can just tell you that's an accomplishment, and I'm proud of them. And I do hope that there's a part 2. And I hope they can do kind of like an Expendables type deal, but with those wrestlers. Maybe some different ones. They plug them in and out and do different missions and whatnot.
No, we don't need different wrestlers. We got the crew that we want. We started together.
I understand.
Don't you come on here and try to break us up, Ray.
Well, I'm just saying, if you got old
it's not called the Breakable Bunch, it's the Unbreakable Bunch.
Yeah, Unbreakable Bunch. Yeah,
you got a whole bunch of people, but if you had old Stone Cold out there, I think you might, or I'm just saying, could take you to a different level. Just saying,
he can bring his pet cat with him and drink beer with his cat all the time.
Exactly.
You can do those types of things.
But see, that's where Glacier Ray also showed the world. You don't have to go out and be the biggest wrestler in the world to make a good movie or to make a wrestling movie. Although other movies, if you think about who were some of the stars in those movies.
And what movies?
You talking about which ones?
The ones before this one, before the wrestler, before that was
Hulk Hogan, Goldberg, Big Show, even The Rock made a bunch of stinkers.
Randy Orton, Cena,
all those Marine movies.
But look at this one little movie, The Wrestler. How many big stars, so-called stars, did they have in the movie?
Well, they had you and Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had somebody who were average in the ring. And that was me. And then they had Mickey, who before he was a great talent, but he ruined that. I think they said with the way he just thumbed his nose at the business in Hollywood. So people gave up on it. Matter of fact, that's why the insurance was hard for them to get insurance just to even finish the movie because of Mickey. Mickey was blackballed from LA at that time. If you don't remember this, Mickey was off of, he wasn't doing a lot of movies.
No, he wasn't.
This movie started his career back. It started his career back.
Yeah, didn't he
And that's
leave
what I'm saying.
Hollywood to be a boxer? And then
Yes,
he
exactly.
also did the same thing he did to Hollywood, but to boxing. And then he got the wrestler, brought him back. He was in Iron Man 2. Then he was in a couple of those other big budget movies. And then from there, I think he did the same thing he did to Hollywood. And I think they pushed him out again because he was supposed to wrestle Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 27, but he lost all of his muscle mass from the wrestler. Say it was filmed like a year ago. So he just looked like a normal Hollywood actor, and he didn't have the muscle mass anymore. And he threw.
But you don't need
juice, baby.
You don't need
no,
muscle.
how dare you?
You don't.
That was
need,
all natural.
But the thing is, you don't need a lot of muscle to wrestle. Look at today's wrestler. Look at AEW. Look at some of the young guys, some young talent. They're not all muscled up. Those are very, very small guys. How tall are you, Steve?
I am 5'9".
Just tall enough to kiss my ass.
Steve, you ain't got to take that.
What
This
about
is
Rey
your
Mysterio?
show.
What are you going to say? The Rey
This is
Mysterio?
his show.
Yeah,
Because
but
he's sitting back there with the cat's corner in the background. He thinks it's his show.
hey, but
Nah.
Rey Mysterio does. He worked that ring. That's what I'm saying. You
He got
don't
muscle
have
mass,
to,
though. He got muscle.
Come on, man. Ray is only what 5'6".
Yeah, but he's built, though. I mean, he's
Look
a
how
muscle.
small he was in 1996 versus he is now.
Yeah,
I'm saying Mickey
yeah.
Rourke in the movie was jacked. When you saw him a year later, he was no longer, as Ray put it, on the juice. So
Yeah,
he
Ray
didn't
don't
look the same way.
Ray don't know if that man was on the juice.
Okay.
And another thing.
Okay.
And
Alrighty.
another thing, Mickey has been the same size. If you look at it, he really the same size. He wasn't that big in the movie, the wrestler. He was not that big. He was not that large.
No. Iron Man 2, who's pretty big too. So,
Okay,
but again,
maybe he got big, yeah.
maybe, just maybe.
Yeah,
Before we wrap this up, though, I want to play a little game. Is Wikipedia right or wrong? And
I don't
know...
play games.
Yes,
Kid.
Oh,
you
fine.
do.
It's
Yes,
a very
you do.
serious topic then.
Okay, all right.
Not
let's
a game.
Go. Okay,
It's-
let's go. I want to be
All
serious.
right. All right, let's be serious. Let's see. Is it true, according to Wikipedia, that you really were the karate instructor for Eric Bischoff's son, and then Eric Bischoff just abruptly asks you, "Hey, want to be a wrestler?"
Well, it wasn't exactly like that.
Ding,
I
ding,
was
ding.
a karate instructor. I was a karate instructor to Garrett, and it took a little time. Over a period of time, he just come in and look at me and watch me. Then all of a sudden, he said, "Hey, I think if you want to, I think you'll be good in the ring." So he did hire me, yeah. But it just he didn't just come in and said, "Come wrestle with me." He came in and watched me a little bit and picked out the good stuff in my career that would have proved to him that I would have been a good wrestler.
Well, you definitely were as well, and great on the microphone as well. The other thing is too is where I'm from, Velocity was not a show in the market that I lived in. It did not air on television, so I was not aware that this is true or not. You were the announcer for Velocity for a good year and a half, and were you aware this wasn't in all the markets? And how did you get involved with the WWE?
You know what? I was sitting home. My contract after WCW was bought out by WWE. I sat home for 3 years, collected my money, took care of my family and kids, spent a lot of time doing with my kids and family, didn't do anything. Then out of the blue, Johnny Ace gave me a call and said, "Hey, Cap, when your contract is up in WCW?" I said, "About another year." He said, "Well, Vince McMahon called your name and said he wants you to come up here and work with him." And I said, "He don't want you to just wrestle. He wants you to do a lot of other things too." And no other thing wasn't what I was expecting,
We know what that meant.
But he said, "I want you to be able to work with guys in the back, interviewing and doing this." And then he said, "We want you to work on velocity and stuff like that." So I've never worked like that. I never been a commentator. So I knew nothing. Listen, I was only wrestling for about 4 years. It's certain things in the ring I didn't know the name of, because I wasn't a wrestler. I was a wrestler who did karate and talked a lot. So people like Chris Jericho would say to me walking down the hall, he was like, "Cat, you got 95% of what it takes already to be a star." He said, "You got the charisma, and everything we give you. You got the charisma, you got everything. But when I got the WWE and they put me on Velocity, I knew nothing about it, and they just wanted me. They said, we just want you to start here, and I started there and moved my way in and back into the ring.
Wow. Yeah, because Velocity was not in my market. It did not exist. Like, I would see it on magazines and things like that, but it did not air where I was from. So I was like, I couldn't find, you can go on YouTube and hear your voice on those broadcasts, but you can't find that. I couldn't find that locally live on television.
Like Sunday Night Heat. It was only in certain markets.
So
yes. Yeah.
So maybe you should have moved to where the market was at.
Because just
like downtown, somewhere in the city.
Yeah, of course.
You should have got your
Wikipedia's 2 for 2. Go ahead.
All right, and here's the one that I really am interested in more than anything is it true that your music, your catchphrase, your music, your dancing, everything about you was pretty much, you did it on television, but then when you weren't on television, they gave all of that to Brodus Clay Tyrus, and they didn't even ask you, and you came up with that catchphrase. Someone called my mama in WCW. Is it true they just took all your stuff and gave it to somebody else?
Gave it to Tyrus.
I'm going to tell you this right here. They asked me to come back after they asked Mickey Rourke to come back and do something. After he'd say he's not going to do it, they called and asked me what I said, no. Why? Listen, I'm the wrestler. I work for you guys. And here I'm in the same movie with this guy. And you're not going to try to do anything with me. You're going to bring him in first. So anyway, that was the way they did business up there in WWE. So I was a little taken away with it. And yes, all the music, the catchphrases, all that stuff, I came up with that. My whole thing was Muhammad Ali with an attitude of James Brown. That's it. I listened to whatever Muhammad Ali, the way he started, I'm the greatest, I shook up the world. All of myself was Muhammad Ali. So when they gave it to Brody, he didn't know what to say. Call my mama don't sound right. Coming from somebody who voted for Donald Trump.
Hey now, whoa. Listen, Tyrus he's right, man. Power. Anyway, listen.
Hold up.
He didn't ever say somebody called my mama. He didn't ever say that.
Yes, he did.
He just came out to your song. He never
to the
said,
song. I don't know.
He never did. He came out with the pterodactyls, those girls, and
the Funkadactyls.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about? Those girls that whatever.
Naomi, and Andrew.
I got about 10 calls that night when he came out. One was my good old friend Norma Smiley. Norma Smiley sent me a text message, and the text message said, "They stealing your shit." I'm like, what are you talking about? I turned on the TV, and then the next week or two, they was in Atlanta, and Mark Henry and Tyrus was in Atlanta. They came to work out with me at the gym. And people were asking me like I was going to get mad. I should have.
But you didn't own the song. That's something that Vince and them produced.
No,
they produced that song for you.
Dog, Ray.
Come on now. Let's all be honest with each other.
Okay, no. The guy, I'm gonna tell you who made all the music for me was what's the guy with Hogan?
His name is Jimmy, Mouth of the South Park. Yeah.
Jimmy Hart made everything. He owned the rights to everything.
It for Vince.
No, he did. He made it for me. What are you talking about?
He did it with your character in mind, but they
no,
own
he
the rights
did. Hey,
music.
Ray, you're not working with WWE. I work with WCW. Now, what he did, you can say whatever you want to. I know he owned everything. If I want to go back and use something, you had to go through him before you go through WWE.
Interesting.
Because he wrote it, but it was produced for World Wrestling Entertainment. They own the rights to it.
No. They own the right to WCW, which he worked for WCW when he wrote the music. But he kept the catalog. He owned all the right to the music.
the song you used in WCW is not the song we're talking about.
Yes, it is. They changed it. They changed it a little bit, but it's still somebody called my mama.
Because
I know
your song in WCW started out with "I'm the greatest." It would say "I'm the greatest," and you'd come. Well, listen, me and you do a podcast together, so you know I'm the biggest mark for you there is. I know you wrestled barefooted for a long time. Then you put the shoes on, and you put the red shoes on to get the drop on people. And I know your song started out with "I'm the greatest,"
but you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, all right, we'll call it that then.
Well, then Wikipedia and Ray are wrong, according to.
That's one. Yeah,
Wrong.
Ray, down with Ray.
Down with Ray. Down with Ray. Down with Ray. Who knew how this would turn out? Not me. Not me. But there's so many other things, though, involving WCW. Before we wrap this up, though, being the commissioner and the Young Dragons and that whole rivalry of every time you're walking backstage and you'd hear the music and then you turn around when they were there. Who pitched that? Who came up with that? Because that, people always, not people, but online, they look at anything that's bad in wrestling, they go, "Oh, that's WCW 2000. Oh, that's WCW 2000." I was watching WCW 2000, and I love that shit.
That's what I was saying. When that was going on, people loved that.
Yes.
People who talk about stuff that used to happen are those who didn't watch it until now. They got everything else out there new, and they go back and see, so, oh, that's terrible. Because it's not, it don't correlate with what's going on today. It don't connect to what they're doing today. Wrestling is totally different today than it was like in 2000.
Of course.
Back then, that right there, man, I was a commissioner. I was getting over. I was one thing I had the ability to do was to work with everybody. I can have a conversation with anybody. Hogan. So all I do is get the sheet, go out. Okay, you go tell Hogan he can't wrestle tonight. Okay, you go out and tell Goldberg you're going to arrest him and we go out and have a conversation. Now, being over means sometimes you got a little bit of power. And being a commissioner, I was over because I was bringing in numbers, ratings. So when I heard some news in the back saying that, if they're not using you now, we're going to start getting rid of people. People were getting fired. They were letting people go left and right because we had so many people on the contract, it wasn't room for everybody. So at this time, when I heard that, they were thinking about letting some people go. So I started, I tuned in and started saying, let me see what I can do to keep some of my friends around. So I came up. I think, Ray, you grew up on this too, and probably you, Steve. You remember that show, The Pink Panther?
Of course.
Did it?
I used to watch that every night. I just loved that show. The way he just do his little fake karate. So I told Vince Russo or whoever was in charge then. I went to them. I said, "Listen, let me come up with something. So what? Let me use these three guys, and they're gonna work for me, and they're gonna keep my skills sharp in karate by jumping on me every time I least expect it." And they said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." And I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna hear the music, but nobody can hear the music but me. And I'll be looking around. But then in the back camera, you can see them hiding behind a little pole or something. Hiding behind curves, looking at a plant. And then they jump out and we fight for a little while. Then I said, "Okay, boys, it's time for me to go back to work. You guys clean up and get out of here." Almost like my favorite movie, Blazing Saddle.
Yes.
Yeah, that was some classic hilarious moments. Those were great with Canyon dressing up as DDP as well, and there was just many fun things.
When was that?
That was in the year 2000, and DDP was injured, so Canyon started pretending he was DDP, positively Canyon, and they would show like, sometimes they come back from a commercial break and they'd show the arena outside like, "We're live in Atlanta right now," and you'd see like a person walking with like their wife or something, and out of nowhere in the distance, you see someone run really fast and just give a diamond cutter to somebody. So Canyon was diamond cuttering people randomly throughout the arenas and throughout the shows, and it was one of the funniest things in the world.
I thought it was hilarious too.
People, they spit on that. They put that down too. But I'm gonna tell you, in the part of the storyline that was on TV back in the old days, if they could have took in a storyline, put some fire behind it, and blew it up, and it would have been a good storyline.
There was
Because
still 7 to 10 million people watching it every
yeah. Like me and the Pink Panther kids, we had a match. We ended up having a match because they kept going crazy. So I ended up having a match with them, me against the 3 of those guys. And it was a very entertaining match. The numbers was up there. The numbers went up. It didn't go down. The number went up because people watched that match. We was able to be entertaining and have fun. We had a story that we could have developed if these guys wasn't fighting behind the curtains, fighting each other, the writers and the people who's in charge, they fighting with each other. They didn't have time to develop no TV show.
I know. That's unfortunate. I have 2 more questions, and you brought up a pretty good one, and there was a documentary months ago about it. Who killed WCW? Both of you, who do you think or how or why? Who killed WCW?
They started making cupcakes, and I think Ray ate them out of house and home. And that's who killed WCW, Ray, over the cupcakes.
Why are you dodging the question, Cat? Why don't you tell what you said on our show several times who actually killed?
That should tell you, Steve, how much and how many
Get
cupcakes
on camera.
this guy
Half
ate.
your face is gone. There you go. Now you on the camera.
Yeah.
All right, talk
Ray,
to me. Who did it?
Who did it? Who killed WCW?
Well, I've always said that Brad Siegel had a part in it.
Man,
I think upper management. I think upper management killed WCW because they put WCW on the Braves books, and it always showed a loss, and they tried everything in the world to get rid of them, and they finally succeeded. So I don't think they wanted the wrestling when AOL took over and merged, and they forced my man Ted Turner to the side, and when they did, WCW was doomed.
Big Ray, that's good. I'm glad you read that. Now go eat some cupcakes.
I got you cupcakes, pal.
Now let me tell you, Steve, these guys don't know who killed WCW.
Brother. If anybody killed it, brother, it was Hogan, brother. Go ahead. You know who did it.
Could no one person kill WCW? Mm-hmm. Vince McMahon, along with office people, they are the one that packed it away and say, listen, I don't want to have anyone I got gonna make me work. Gonna make me work a little harder. We're gonna pack this thing away. We're gonna pack it away. And who killed it? It's not dead.
True.
It's sleeping. It's sleeping. It's sleeping in somebody's basement.
So
bunch of videotapes, just waiting for someone to wake it up again.
You think it's coming back?
Look at AEW. I mean, could AEW be WCW? What do you think, Steve?
I think AEW is WCW for a lot of wrestling fans, because in the beginning, to go back to 2019 when it started, everyone was disenfranchised with the WWE. They hated Vince McMahon. They hated the way he was booking wrestlers. Someone get a push, they wouldn't get a push. It made no sense. It was most inconsistent television in years. So AEW pops up. Oh my God, something that reminds me of my childhood. Something that reminds me of what I used to love about professional wrestling. And then you watched it. Flash forward 5 years later, Vince is out, Triple H is in, storylines are consistent, business is up, huge Netflix, USA, and CW deals kick in. Well, WWE is making more money than they ever have in their entire lives. So AEW is no longer the alternative. It is become the WCW for WWE.
No. There's no damn way you're going to say AEW is like WCW. Get the hell out of here.
You just said that. Why
get
you
the hell out of here?
To the point.
Listen, here's a question. All right, I have 2 questions, but the one you brought up is good.
No,
if WCW is
let me finish this.
Let me finish.
I'm tired of you two.
You two guys, you hang out with this guy weekly,
man. And I tell you, there's no way you can compare AEW to WCW.
Then why did you say
the feelings? I'm not saying the matches.
To me, AEW is a big indie show. A big indie show where you go and see these young talent coming up. They're doing things that they would never get away with if they was on WCW. You think a guy gonna stand there in front of Scott Steiner, wrestle Scott Steiner with his hands in his pants? Huh? What?
No.
You talking about Orange Cassidy?
You think somebody gonna come in who dad is a famous actor and get in a fight in the locker room with a top name guy? and still come back and wrestle?
You talking about Luke Perry's son, Jack Perry, and CM Punk?
You see what I'm saying? That's not WCW. WCW is where the superstars came to work. The celebrity wanted to work. Celebrity wanted to work. We would listen. If you had put if you had put WWF and WCW in a room together and everybody just fought, you wouldn't know who to win because we were monsters too, and they was monsters. Today, if you put old WCW or WWE in a locker room with AEW, it's gonna be a lot of love making. Gonna be a lot of love making.
I hear you, Vince.
I don't really know what that means.
Somebody gonna take it, and somebody gonna give it.
All right.
And the little young guys at AEW might be the one taking it.
Okay, now we got to interview these people later on. I do not agree with the views and the opinions of one Ernest Miller.
I'm just here as the host. There's words being brought up.
What I wanted to say is though, what I meant is they're younger talent and they're working hard, and but right now they still got a long ways to go. Well,
and they're only 5 years old.
Yeah, and I think WWE is doing what WWE is supposed to do, especially with it's still like Vince McMahon is there for me because you got Shawn Michaels, you got Triple H and his posse, his boys, his crew. These guys are the one running the show. Wasn't these guys there when Vince McMahon was there?
Yes, but I would say any business if you're a manager, you hire your people, to be part of the voice and the message you want out there. It doesn't matter who it is. Yes.
Says who?
Any business. If you're the manager of McDonald's, you want the best fry cook.
I got 10 karate schools all over the world. I ain't gonna just hire my friends to come and run these karate schools.
No, but they know what they're doing.
I'm gonna get the best talent I can get. You understand what I'm saying, son?
Yes, we do.
I understand what you're saying.
Ayatollah has spoken.
I understand.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
We got a little Jackie Chan, a little Rush Hour quoting going on here.
What was your other question, Steve?
My other question.
Hey, Ray. Don't be trying to move him forward like you got somewhere to go.
I'm trying to help him and you. That's all.
I just want to talk about this.
I don't need no help.
Yeah,
I want to talk about the WCW tapes.
No help.
We talk about the WCW tapes in the basement because ECW has been brought back multiple times, even for 3-4 years on television. They brought back their reunion shows. Recently in NXT, they had a reunion show. WCW has never once had a reunion show. They've had DVDs, they've had books, but they've never had let's have a reunion or let's have a celebration of WCW. It's because WCW kicked the shit out of the WWE for years, and they don't want to bring up that. There's a bad feeling still from 20 years ago. Why do you feel like WCW has never been acknowledged on television as being this juggernaut that it was? Because anytime someone from WCW showed up, there's history there. Scott Steiner. The only person who actually came out well out of WCW in the WWE was Booker T inside the organization.
But Booker T had to go through a lot of stuff.
Of course.
Do you remember how they were booking Booker T in the beginning?
With Buck Bagwell?
With Buck Bagwell. Then they booked him with Stone Cold. With Stone Cold called him stealing in a store and beat him up in the store.
He wasn't stealing in the store. He was just there and they got in a fight in the store. Why is everything got to be racial with you?
Listen. This dude walking around in a grocery store and get beat up.
Tell me you did not just say that.
Yes.
And this is what I'm saying. The way they booked the talent back then, it wasn't very strong. You had no idea where you were going. They just said, hey, but they booked me in a match with I forgot who the two guys was I was in a match with, but with me and John Cena. And the crowd went crazy when I got in the ring from WCW, wanted me to have the mic. But they told me give the mic to John Cena because that's who they were trying to push. Right. They just had me there in the ring. So that day I figured out like these guys don't want to work with us. Everybody had a bad run there. There's nobody you could say came out juicy.
Goldberg.
Goldberg didn't come out juicing. All the person Goldberg beat was The Rock.
He beat Brock. He beat The Rock. He beat them
No,
all.
the Brock wasn't even a man then. He was just
Yes, he
coming
was.
up.
They wrestled him, and everybody booed him. You remember the WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 2004,
Yeah,
WrestleMania
they
20
booed
inside
him out of the
MSG.
building.
Listen,
Because they both knew they were leaving. That's why they got booed.
yeah,
Brock was
they
going to
came.
be
They
in the
came.
NFL.
Listen, they came early, and that's what I'm saying. They really didn't put. The only reason he got Brock because Brock, they know Brock was leaving, like you said, and Goldberg
But
was
then
on
they
the
came
way
back.
because
He came back.
Goldberg got in a fight in the locker room because the way he was being pushed.
With Jericho.
No, not
Right?
with Jericho. With Johnny Ace. With Johnny Ace, he told me this is bull crap. The way you guys are pushing me, and he turned tables over and everything. And Johnny Ace hauled his ass out of there and went down the hall and got Vince.
And then Vince came in there and tried to buck up to him.
No, Vince McMahon came in there, and you won there. How you know?
I heard the story.
Who told you the story?
I think you did.
Okay, so Vince came in, and Vince and Goldberg was upset because the way they were pushing him. He said, "I'm leaving," and he said, "Well, listen, you can just calm down." Then he was like, "Yeah, I'm tired of this shit." And Vince told him, said, "Listen, if the way you throwing stuff around, if I came here and I'm mad and you're mad, it may be some furniture moving around here with both of us being angry." And he stood up to Goldberg. And Goldberg came, and I walked down there after Vince walked out, and I talked to Goldberg, and Goldberg said, "Man, do you know this old fucker came in and tried to act like he would go do something?" Goldberg said, "I would kill that old man."
Yes, he would have too.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing was, Vince wasn't afraid. Vince walked in there with his jacket on. He took his jacket off at the door. He had this nice little suit on. He took the suit off. I was standing right there because they said Goldberg going crazy. So I was about to go in there. But before I could go in, Vince walked down the hall, took his jacket off, gave it to one of the guys in the hall. He walked in there, rolling his sleeves up. He said, both of us were mad like this. It'll be some, what did he say? It was kind of funny, he said. It'll be some kind of, I forgot what he said, but he was like saying it'll be some furniture moving. We'll be going at it. If I was mad as you are, we'll be going at it.
Wow. Well, Vince
that
would have
wouldn't have benefited him at all.
Yeah,
That
Vince would be dead.
But Goldberg did get a second act with the WWE where he beat Brock in like 30 seconds.
We talking about the first one. The first
I understand.
Yeah.
But if you remember correctly,
yes,
when Booker's first
he didn't do that well.
Is when he jumped in on Stone Cold, and even JR was like, "That's Booker T. That's Booker T. 5-time WCW."
Bro,
he was
listen,
blown up when he got there.
Nobody in the business really thought that Booker T will push the way he should have been pushed when he first got
They made him king of the ring. They made him
they made the king of the ring to do what? Talk with this British stupid ass boys like you come.
Yeah, you gotta put your pinky out.
I can't talk. I can't
do it.
Hey, Steve, I should have never asked you to let him on there because I can't talk serious when he started doing this stuff.
Listen, you the one who invited him.
All right.
We can de-invite him.
He does me every time, Steve.
We can hit the button and mute him. Just let him try to talk the whole time. Oh, we won't do that.
But the thing is this right here. Booker T wasn't happy. Well, I can't say Booker T wasn't happy, but Booker T wasn't pushed like I thought he should have been pushed. The only people got good push when they came from WCW to WWE was Jericho and those guys. The group of guys came, the lightweight.
Yeah, the Radicals. Well, they came over when WCW was still around. When WCW was closed and everyone went out their contracts.
Yeah,
they showed up. The people like Sting or Goldberg or Booker T or Scott Steiner, they all came in after their contracts were done.
Scott Steiner came in, and he came in angry, and he was going to kill somebody in the locker room.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, his performance at Royal Rumble 2003 and No Way Out 2003 didn't really help his case of being properly booked. Eventually, he did fight Test, and they fought over Stacy Keibler, and there was involving a storyline involving testicles. But those were what they call a
See,
test.
that's what
fans.
I'm talking about. That's what. But what about DDP? What about
He
his
was
push?
He was a stalker for Undertaker's wife. What
Yeah,
a
that was
shitty
listen,
way to come in.
Listen,
Terrible.
and he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Right.
Speaking of that, what do you think you'll ever be in the Hall of Fame in the WWE and a WWE Legends contract?
I don't. You know what? They talked about it, and I've heard a couple of people say something about it, but I don't think I kissed enough ass when I was there.
Well, it's never too late.
It's always too late for me because my wrestling life is behind me. I did what I was supposed to do in wrestling. Now I'm doing it in different things. I got something. I'm coming up with content. I'm doing movies. I'm doing TV shows. So
Hey,
I'm
can we
doing
mention
karate.
what we just did? Can you want to tell Steve what we just did?
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
The ringside roasts, which is a great concept.
Go ahead. Tell
Ringside roast, where you take two wrestlers and put them together with a comedic format where they're roasting each other, kind of cutting each other down. It was absolutely incredible last Wednesday night in the Laughing Skull Comedy Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia. We blew it up. We had 5 rounds of it. Won by Ron Reese, of all people. Him and Buff Bagwell went at it, and he destroyed. I mean, he really did well. He won the overall roast battle, and it was.
He's like the king of the ring,
and the king of the roast master.
And you know, I was having breakfast with one of my good friends who just happened to be the owner of this club. He's a comedian. He did some stuff for Netflix, and he asked me. He said, "Hey, Cat, do you think wrestlers can deliver jokes?" That's what you mean, deliver jokes. He said, "Do you think they can roast someone?" I said, "Listen, that's all we do. That's all we do is roast the fans and each other." Yeah. I said, you come in, they give you a dialogue and say, "Okay, this is what you need to say." Yeah, no, scripted. Vince McMahon used to give us script, and you had to read word for word. He did not want you going away from the script. So deliver a line, it was hard then, because if you wasn't in touch with the writer and the writer wasn't in touch with you, it's like you just reading words. That's why The Rock used his own writer. This guy who write for The Rock was there with The Rock this whole time he was there. Nobody else wrote anything for him. This guy would take it and write his stuff for The Rock.
He's still with him right now. Brian Gewirtz.
Yeah, Brian Gewirtz. Yeah.
Still with him today at $7 Productions. He actually wrote the Rock show on NBC that I think
Young Rock
3 seasons. So he's still there with The Rock, still doing everything with The Rock. So there's no difference there.
He did this last run with him when they did this WrestleMania run. He did all that for him. Yeah.
Yep.
How you know? Yep. Were you there?
Oh my God, Cat.
Should I call Brian right now? Should we do that?
Get him on in a quad.
Get him to admit this. Yeah, he'll Edgar. I got to go through a PR person with them when it comes to those things sometimes, because he might say things he's not supposed to say. Because last year he almost became the head writer of the WWE again.
Oh yeah, I thought we were gonna do that. I had forgot all about this guy, because he was writing for everybody when he was there in WCW, WWE too. And him and I got along really well. So I was at WrestleMania. It was in Philly, and he walked in, and the guy sitting around me was Marks, and Ray wasn't one of them. It was other Mark. So they recognized him right off hand. Hey, that's right. Now I said his face looked familiar, but he looked up and saw me and came over. Gave me a hug. Cat, how you been doing? I miss you. And he started telling me all this stuff he's doing. So him and I still talk. I got his phone number. Give him a call sometime.
We were gonna get him on the show at one time, I thought, but
yeah. We're gonna get him on the show. He said he'll do it.
His book came out about 2 years ago, so a lot of people were interviewing him around that time, and then another round of interviews to promote Young Rock came out. So then those interviews came around, and then most recently they were trying to promote their like Dark Side of the Ring round table. I think it was something in the territory. And they did that as well. So yeah, he's been around doing interviews here and there, but you got to go through $7 PR people if you want to get in touch with Brian to put him on a camera now, I guess, because again, he knows so much that he might say something he's not supposed to say. So either way, but my God, today has been a pleasure and an honor going through ups and downs. Didn't think we talk about Trump to yelling at each other to reminiscing. Didn't know. Had no idea.
Hey,
but we had a good
brother,
time.
I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you so much.
Productions, man. I appreciate the invite.
Again,
hey, listen, tell the people if they really want to hear more of the Cat and Big Shug. Hey, check us out. Cat's Corner podcast.
Of course. On YouTube, do you have a consistent schedule or weekly?
We're doing 2 or 3 shows a week right now. And so we're trying to put out as much content as we can. Like I said, we just did James Storm yesterday. We had one today, but we couldn't work it in because we wanted to do your show. So we booked this guy.
Do you remember WCW Kid Romeo?
Of course.
Oh, do you remember? Do you remember him?
He was the one half of the Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions, please.
Yeah.
Yes. See, my man knows. He knows. He's a mark like me. He knows.
This shit is sitting in here. You know, I've been interviewing wrestlers for like 5 years now. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 5 years old. 1992. Do the math on the age. Please don't do the math on the age if you don't want to. But it is. But honestly, yes, I know Kid Romeo. And recently, you guys had the Blue Meeting on, I believe. No, not the Blue Meeting. You had you talked about the NXT and is it too close to reality television? And that is on the Cat's Corner's YouTube channel right now. If you want to hear their thoughts on NXT. And is it too close to the reality realm of professional wrestling and television?
It was a good show. So, thanks for plugging it.
Of course. And again, your movie right now, the Unbreakable Bunch is on Apple TV. It's on Hulu. It's everywhere you can think of for streaming platforms. So it's been an honor and a privilege talking to both of you. Yes, both of you, Ray. You've run your place here too.
I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. And keep on dancing.
Yeah.
Somebody call you mama.
I don't dance. I don't dance anymore.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I'll get you to dance next time I see you.
All right.
Have a good one.
Listen, you should have seen